And now we've partnered with Modern Football, and they have a lot of analytic tools that, not only just for scheme, but for players that fit that scheme. So if we're running a scheme and one quarterback, when we run 4 verticals, is we're looking at what he's doing, and his balls are being completed at 20% and the other ones at 70%. Well, is it really the scheme, or is it who's in? So we take it another step past that to see, is it a certain player not making this go? Because it may not be the play if it's switched out and it's super explosive. So our whole goal is to have concepts outside of quick game that have potential for explosives at any time. This could be a 20-yard explosive. And the ones that can do that, we want to major in. And again, it's all analytics as you break it down and see what's best.
Yeah, the analytics, and the better you can understand those things, help you get to that point where you're able to narrow down the playbook and you're able to see what your guys can really do. And I think also the tool used correctly becomes a development tool. Hey, we're not hitting this particular route, or the ball is always behind on this particular throw. Why? And now you can start solving for those problems. And that's what I see, the advantage being for guys who do use technology. And, you mentioned Modern Football technology, and been able to sit down with you and go through with them a little bit of the product development and what should this tool look like. And in particular, we're talking about their quarterback grading tool that really, I think, one, it becomes a time saver. We've all been through those drills of trying to chart as much as we can on a quarterback and get that data. So as we go through and we're trying to figure out, if we're in a quarterback duel, who is the starter, and to make that choice correctly, and being able to really see who's really operating within the offense. That's, I think, what having good data and then a way to make something of it is going to speed up that process for you. It's going to make it clear. And at the end of the day, if technology is just adding time to what you do, it's not really serving you well. You want to find a way to streamline it. And I know in sitting down with Christian at Modern Football, when we started talking about quarterback grading, I explained some of my pain points in doing that. And it was usually for me during spring ball and all the things that I wanted to do to make sure I was evaluating correctly. But it took me a lot of time. And now I'm looking at the ability to take a tablet and touch a few buttons and boom, we're on to the next play. I think that in and of itself is going to save a lot of time. But what's coming out of it in the reports, I think, that's where the magic is.
Right. Right. Exactly. So we've always, had the reports as far as, hey, so-and-so was 60% and 100 out of 150, but all right, was half of that check downs? Like, we don't know. And, so that's what's cool about all the analytic tools and what Modern Football is doing. You can actually dive deeper into what's going on the field, and then gives you the information you need, which is what everything's about, is getting that information and as fast as possible. Because in that data, we have a situation where in the last 2 years, if this was normal football, you get your players back. We have one quarterback that's average target was 5 yards less than the other 2 quarterbacks that have started games for us. And we're talking about a drop off from averaging 11 yards down the field of target, whatever that is, ATR, AT something, average target per throw, I think is ATPT. Average target per throws typically in us should be somewhere past 10 yards, for the love of God, be past 10 yards. And so one quarterback's at 5 in our system. And so when 2 other quarterbacks are doing that, and then you're at 5 running the same plays, and that's not just one sample size of a game, it's multiple games, and all of them had multiple games, that's player-based. It's not scheme-based. And so, like you said, that's a great tool to, show them the data and say, all right, how could we help this? What do we need to do? Can you fix this? Because this isn't working for us right here. So I never really thought of it that way, but it absolutely can be used to coach a player.